Are you okay?
How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
How are you getting on?
Yeah, good. It's my house is like a zoo at the moment because I've got three kids, so I've come outside to do this. I've got a
My
1 year old.
condolences.
I've got a 1 year old son, and he goes to sleep at this time, so he's bonkers. He literally puts everything in his mouth. He's always crying, so I'm gonna have to get outside.
Is it kind of nice though, getting to have a little bit of family time?
Yeah, of course it is. Because obviously I'm away at camp a lot. I'm always at the gym. I've got a gym in the town centre of Blackpool. So I'm always at my gym, or I'm away at camp Monday to Friday. So yeah, it's nice to be at home with my wife and my kids. There's nothing better.
So, what would you have had planned had we not been in COVID-19?
To be honest, I'd had a couple of offers. I had the Scott Fitz fight that come about
Hmm.
again, and then he pulled out. So I was getting offered big fights all the time, but they've got to be worth my while now. If I'm going to do it,
Mm.
it's got to be the right fight. In a way, I probably wouldn't have had the Fowler fight if Fitzgerald hadn't pulled out. It's not a fight that I was looking for. He's young. It's not a fight that 5 years ago I would have had that fight all day, and I would have won that fight. But now I'm 35. I'm too old to be fighting these young kids. So if the right opportunity comes up and I fancy it and the money's good, I'll do it. But other than that, I don't need it.
Well, it's you've had a long career. Like, what is it? 15 years?
Yeah, 15 years as a pro now. I've been boxing since the age of 9 as well. So I had like 90 amateur fights. I started boxing when I was 9, and up until I was 20, turned pro when I was 20. So I've been very active as a fighter.
Mm.
I've been punched in the head far too many times.
Do you know one thing that I always I'm kind of fascinated by guys that have been in the business and that are still in the business and still fighting over 10 years is how dramatically it has changed for you since you
Yeah.
started. Like, I mean, there's been some massive changes to not only boxing but the business of boxing since you would have started. Probably social media is probably one of the biggest ones, I imagine. But what are some of your biggest changes that you've seen over the years?
Probably social media.
Hmm.
Massive. I remember getting a bit of a head start with social media. I've got a friend called Tony Jeffries. Um, he got bronze medal at the Olympics, had a few pro fights with us, and he went over to LA and started a gym called Box and Burn. And he was mad into social media, but like 10 years ago, and he made me get Twitter, and I was like, what is this crap, So anyway, I got it, and so I got a bit of a head start on social media because of him. So I'm thankful for that, and he always gives me advice on how to get new followers and how to interact better with your fans.
Well, you're not doing too bad with the followers, so you're doing something right.
Oh, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
Do you know, like, can you talk to me about the time when you did start? I mean, like, when you did start at 20, like, what was the goal? You know, every fighter has a different goal. They have a different reason for fighting. And I'm wondering what was yours when you set out to kind of go on this path. What were some of the big goals that you wanted to
Yeah.
achieve?
So when I first started, there wasn't these. I was fighting in sports centres and things like that. I was fighting on Sunday shows in a sports centre, trying to sell 50, 60 tickets to try and get on that bill. And then end up fighting for a Central Area title. And that was my break, really. I won that. And then I seriously hurt him in the fight. And that messed me up a little bit. So I had a year out. And then I got knocked out myself by match. So to be honest, I started off and I was just in sports. And I'd not fought on Sky or fought on telly for like 15 fights. I wasn't as lucky as these
Mm.
Olympians that signed with Eddie Earn and things. So I had to earn it the hard way, and I did. I managed to get on Sky, and I never looked back. I won the British title, and then I was selling out shows in Blackpool, Winter Gardens. I was selling like 4,000 tickets. It was amazing. So defending my British title in Blackpool. That was my pinnacle in a way. But I did have to start, by going around knocking on people's doors, selling
Mm.
tickets. It was hard.
I totally hear you when you say it was hard, and I definitely see it in the fighters now that are still on the small shows, and they still have that thing of like they're selling tickets on the day of their fight. They're like running out of the changing room to like give tickets to people and stuff. But are you glad that you had that start? Did it make you appreciate the bigger shows a little bit better?
Yeah, I think it definitely kept me humble. Anyone that I speak to, they say I'm down to earth and humble, and
Mm.
it definitely made me that way because I'm not saying I'm famous because I'm not, nowhere near, but
You are a little bit.
no, but it did happen to me overnight. It's gradual. I won the Central Air, I won the English, so it kept me humble. That I
Yeah.
have to work hard for what I've got. I'm not saying these Olympians don't deserve it because they do. It was a dream of mine to go to the Olympics. It just didn't happen. I
Mm.
was 20. I thought, do I wait another 4 years? I was in the England squad, probably wouldn't have made it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to turn pro. If I hadn't turned pro, I might not have won the British title and might not have gone on to fight for a world title. So, things happen for a reason, don't they? And
Yeah.
yeah, I've definitely worked hard for what I've got. I've had to work hard because I've not been as talented as some of these kids out there. So I've had to work hard for what I've got.
What was the one moment, or the first moment where you kind of went, shit, I'm doing really well here? Like, would it have been Matchroom shows, Sky Sports? At what point were you like, things are really paying off, and I
Uh,
can sort of appreciate where I am now?
yeah, it's probably when I signed with Eddie Earn. It was the New Life of Brian, they called it, the New Life of Brian, and he signed me in Blackpool. Um, and I fought Joaquin Malsine in
Yeah.
Blackpool, and that was the start of everything. And then it was just amazing. It was just amazing because I never thought I'd get to that point where I'd sign with Eddie
Mm.
Earn. I mean, it's even bigger now if you sign with Eddie Earn, but at the time it was still huge. And I was fighting on Sky Sports, and I was speaking about it the other day on another live video, and it was just definitely a confidence fighter. And every fight that went by, I thought, it's got to be my run over now. And I just kept winning and winning and then selling out arenas and it was just amazing. It was just some journey. And then I remember being in New York and all the Blackpool fans singing Seasiders, and I was like, this is mad. I'm from a small town, Blackpool, and we were in New York, Barclays Centre, and there wasn't many people there, but they made themselves heard, and it was amazing. It was an amazing night. It was just, it didn't go my way, but nowhere near went my way, but it was an amazing night.
Can you appreciate all those things when they're happening at the time, or is it very much a case of kind of when you look back years later, you can sort of appreciate them a little bit better?
Yeah, I think at the time it all happened so quick, and I can't really remember doing great and thinking, wow, I'm doing amazing. I'm British champion. I was always quite humble about it, but now looking back on it, I actually appreciate what I've done. I think,
Mm.
what, it's amazing what I've done, and it's only been the last 6 months, probably a year, that I thought that. But up until now, really, I've never appreciated what I've achieved, and I have definitely overachieved. I probably put myself down sometimes, but I have overachieved because I've worked bloody hard for it.
Yeah, 100%. And when you say, like you kind of in terms of talking yourself down, where does that come from? Like, what is that element of your personality or your character? Is that sort of, something that shows up just in fighting, or why do you say that about yourself?
Um, I don't know. I just think I don't like always like I go into schools and I speak in schools sometimes, and I'll talk about my downfalls rather than my achievements sometimes, which they like because not everyone succeeds in life, and it's always
Mm.
nice to talk about when you've been at the bottom and you've worked yourself back up, pick yourself up off the ground, sort of thing. But I find it hard sometimes to sit and talk about myself. So I'd rather talk about getting knocked down and having a laugh about when I've been knocked out rather than talk about, oh, look at my belts in my cabinet. I'd rather do that. It's just the way I am.
Well, I'm going to make you give me a career highlight, so you have to
Yeah,
talk about it for a couple of minutes.
yeah. My career, I probably got three. So when I got stopped by Carson Jones in the
Mm.
first round in Blackpool, it was a devastating night for me. So I said to Eddie, you need to get him back. Get him back no matter what the cost. If he wants a hell of a lot more money, give it him, and I'll do it for free. I
Mm.
couldn't move on with my career until I put that right. So that's the rematch with him, it was the most nervous and most scared I've ever been in my life. But it was career-defining fight. So for me, that's definitely a highlight. The final eliminator for the world title against Javier Maciel, because everyone thought I was going to lose that fight. It knocked out so many people, and people just didn't think I had the strength to, because I'm not known as a concussive puncher. People think I'm not strong or I can't take a shot. But one thing, I'm called Brian the Lion for a reason, and that's the reason, because I don't mind taking a shot and I don't mind grinding wins out, and that's what I did that night. So that was one of the best moments of my life. And Prince Aaron, I was 8-1 on to win that fight, and everyone thought I was going to lose. So that was when I won the British title. That was it changed my life. It changed my life, and it definitely spurred me on to go and do them other things, because it gave me the confidence. And I stood in the ring and I thought, you know what, I'm good enough to go on and do it now. So they're definitely three highlights of my career.
Is it sort of, do you kind of get sort of like a fire underneath you when you do go into a fight as an underdog?
Yeah, definitely. And I always put it out there, and I'm honest, but the last 3 or 4 years, I've probably lost that fire a little bit. I've lost, I've had kids. They have made me a bit soft. I've got a daughter, she wants cuddles, and I'm not used to cuddles, my kids have definitely made me soft, and I've lost that fire a little bit. But while I'm still getting these big fights, and while I'm still enjoying training, I can't give it up, but I do know there becomes a point where, it's time to and it'll be sometime very soon. So people haven't got to worry about me going on for too long. Definitely, you do that, get that fire inside you before a fight, and honestly, I've been in the ring some nights and I thought, I can't lose tonight. It's possible, because I've been taking shots and I just think I just can't be beaten.
Where does that come from?
Hello.
Where does that come from? Is it? I'm always very interested to know where people, like what you say, go into a fight and just be like, when you do post-fight interview with them after, and they're just saying, like, I couldn't have lost. No matter what had happened, I couldn't have lost. And I'm always fascinated to find out where that comes from.
Yeah, well, that's how I felt some nights. I think it's the sacrifices, I've always moved away from Blackpool, because Blackpool's a hard town to live in. People are always going out every weekend. Everyone's trying to drag you out.
Sounds like Dublin.
Yeah, I've been to Dublin as well quite recently. It's a really good place. But yeah, so I had to get away from this town, and that's what I did. So even when I had children, I was Monday to Friday making them sacrifices and getting away. And so when it gets to the fight, you're hungry and you think, you know what, I can't lose, because if I lose, I've done it all for nothing. So yeah. I think that's what spurred me on. Not even my kids. Like I've been with my missus 15 years. So even when we didn't have kids, I was still away from her. I was still away from my mum and dad when I was young. When I was 20, I miss my mum and dad still. I miss my missus, and I miss my family. So that spurred me on, definitely, being away from them and secluding myself and living in hotel rooms and being away from my good friends. That's what spurred me on.
Do you worry about when the time comes when you do hang up the gloves, so to speak, and you do walk away from the fighting end of the sports? Do you worry about that missing that sort of thrill of being into a fight camp, the excitement of fight week, cutting weight, the media, the attention, and then obviously the thrill of the fight and the win and the losses and everything else that goes with it? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, me and my trainer have spoke about this a lot. Even my trainer, Bobby, he struggles after a fight. So even when I win a fight, and it can be the biggest win in my career, a week later I'm down and depressed, because I've gone from up here and celebrating a win to going back to normal life. And even though I love my normal life, it's just not the same as being everyone patting you on the back and saying, well done,
Yeah.
So yeah, I probably will struggle, but I'm not daft, so I know ways of keeping my mind occupied. I've got a gym, so I might train fighters myself. I've got they're amateur affiliated, so I'm going to have amateurs and hopefully train champions myself. So yeah, I've just got to keep my mind occupied, but it is definitely a problem, something that needs to be looked at in boxing. Maybe people seeing psychologists and things like that. Hello. No, I don't know what he's got off his babe. Come and say hello. She wants to go out on a bike with me.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello.
Hi.
What's your name?
Penelope.
Oh, that's a gorgeous name. Are you enjoying having your dad home?
You got thousands of people watching you now, you know.
Yeah. Do you want to say hi?
Got to say hello to everyone.
Hi.
You're shy, aren't you?
I'm sure she's not shy at all. I'm sure this is just the camera.
She's learned to ride a bike today, so it's took a stabiliser.
About stabilisers.
Yeah.
Wow, well done. Well done. That's brilliant. You're going to be able to cycle on your own now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to be able to go really fast and everything.
When I get older, but I'm too scared for the pedals.
Pedals and petals.
You don't need to be scared. You don't need to be scared. But you know what I was going to ask, Brian, is do you think that's why when fighters end, they kind of, you see them sort of go off the rails a little bit and they, you know, whatever happens, happens. And do you think it's that kind of drop off, the adrenaline, you're going from being the center of somewhat of an attention, and then there's nothing and somebody else is taking your place and it's onto the new end of the sport?
Yeah, definitely. I worry for some. I won't name names, but I do worry for some boxers because they have reached like the ultimate goals and they like a drink, you know. So you know when it's all over, they're gonna look at something to keep them occupied. And if drinking is the only thing, then you know if they've got loads of money, they're not gonna need a gym. You know, I actually need my gym and I still need to earn money. You know, I've done well from boxing, but I've not done that well. So I'm quite lucky in a way because I'm still going to have that hunger after boxing. But I do look at it, and some boxers aren't going to be in that position, and I feel for them. I just feel like it needs to be looked at. You know, maybe the Boxing Board of Control should get psychologists on board to help out, or you know, I don't know, or maybe just seek attention themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I've seen psychologists. I think I was the first boxer to go and see a psychologist and go public with it. When I knocked out Jason Rushton, he was bad. He was in a coma. I had to go and see someone, and I actually come out and they did a bit of a thing on Sky Sports, and I actually said, yeah, it's helped me so much, and it changed my career. You know, I wouldn't have been able to carry on without that psychologist.
What was your reasoning for going public with it?
I wanted to help other people. And I wasn't embarrassed because I probably would have been a bit embarrassed if I'd done it and it hadn't worked. It would have been a bit different. But because I actually did it and it worked and I went on to win a British title, was winning all the time, I actually thought, you know what? I'll talk about it because it has helped me. I've got nothing to be embarrassed about. And I think that's what it is. I think because boxers are supposed to be big and brave and really hard, they struggle going and seeking help when mentally up here, it's just as much as being fit or being strong, you know, it means more. You've got to have it up here. And at the time when I was winning the British title, I did have it there because I was seeing psychologists and they were helping me so much.
It's very interesting, and definitely I'm delighted to hear that you did go public with it. What was the best or the most important piece of advice that you were given outside of the ring?
Probably by my dad. My dad was never a pushy dad. You know, I have seen some babe. It's choking me. I have seen some pushy dads, and I've seen dads ruin the kids' careers. Whereas my dad was never like that. My dad was like, he'd make me go, but if I didn't want to go, he'd just leave me. You know. Yeah. And I think the best advice my dad gave me was just enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, stop doing it. And I've enjoyed it. I had moments where I'd lose in a national final, where I felt I'd been robbed or hard done by. So I'd call it a day for a couple of months, and then I'd do it. But he never once pushed me into it, and I think that's helped me so much because I don't think if he'd have tried to push me into it and make me do it, I don't think I would have carried on. I've always done what I've wanted to do with his guidance and his help. So best advice I can give any kids, any future champions is just enjoy it. Make sure you enjoy it.
It's good advice. So while we were talking, everyone has an opportunity to write in a question, and it goes into a question box. I'm just going to have a look and see what we'll take a couple of questions before I let you go. really quickly. So Mackie D83 has asked, did the support of Lescott kind of give you more confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a bit of a publicity stunt as well. I mean, he's my cousin, and but we'd not spoke for a few years until Eddie Hearn said, "Oh, listen, and Sky Sports got in touch and said, "Listen, get your cousin on board. It's good publicity." So it was good for the cameras, but yeah, it definitely spurred me on because it got people talking about me, and it got me a few extra people on board supporting me, because he's obviously a big name in football. So. And I remember sat on Sky playing FIFA with me. He absolutely hammered me on FIFA. But so we should be a footballer. Yeah, it definitely spurred me on because it's nice to have someone who's achieved so much as well.
Definitely. Right, let's have a look in here. He's all, the same person asked the question, said, very humble guy, appreciate all the successes that you've had and how you talk about it. So that's very nice. Kyron has asked, who was your hardest spar?
My hardest spar. Well, I've had some tough spars with Kell Brook. Kell Brook, actually, the cut on my nose that always goes in every fight that I have. I was sparring with him 3 weeks before the Maciel fight. My nose was fine, normal, until he was hanging off the end of it. So 3 weeks before the Maciel fight, he took the skin off my nose. It was only a little nick. And then from then, it was just never the same. But no one knows that. They think it went in the Maciel fight, but it wasn't. I always knew that was going to go. As soon as I got hit by Maciel, I knew it was going to go. I just had to make sure it knitted together before that fight. But it was actually Kell Brook that did it. So Kell Brook's probably the hardest spar because he did that to my nose.
An exclusive. I love it. Brilliant.
Yeah. Not many people know that.
Well, it's going to go viral now. I promise you that.
If it wasn't now, Kell, he'll be walking around. He won't be able to get his head through the door.
Karen has asked, if you could quarantine, or if you had to quarantine with 5 people, dead or alive, who are you choosing?
Oh, God. Does it have to be 5?
It has to be 5.
Quarantine with 5 people.
And it can't be anyone that you know. That's the deal.
This is hard. I'd have to go. Oscar De La Hoya is my favourite fighter. Elvis Presley, because I love his music. I come into If I Can Dream, so Elvis Presley. There's 2. God, it's hard.
It's tough.
So we've got Oscar De La Hoya, Elvis Presley. We've got 3 more. Can it not be anyone I know?
Well, yeah, we go on. I'll let you put.
I'm gonna go Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather, he's got a few quid. He'll buy us takeaways. What else? Can I have 3?
Yes, you can have 3. That's 3. A good 3.
Sorry.
You're terrible at this, Brian.
I'm not very good at that.
Okay, final question here, and this is from Morgo. He's asked, who are your favourite boxers, past and present?
Yeah.
And a few people have asked as well, who are you backing for the future? So a lot of people have the future of the sport. Who have you got? So maybe who's past, and then who have you got in present?
Well, my favourite fighter of all time is Oscar De La Hoya. I call my son after him. So my eldest son, he's 9 on Monday actually. He's called Oscar. So Oscar De La Hoya. And the future, I like saying Canelo, but for me, he'll always be a cheat. And I know people will argue against it, and it's a bit controversial. But that's the reason I don't have him. I would say Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is definitely the man of the moment. You know, he's achieved the most, and what he's done to pick himself up against Wilder. I know he drew and should have won, but what he done that last fight was amazing. So Tyson Fury's the future.
Absolutely. So I'll add on to that with the Canelo chat.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
That for another time. No, it's not worth it. You know why? Because it's not like I understand it in other sports. You know, when you're cycling, you're not going to hurt someone. You know, you're going to win a race. You know, it's still bad and it's still wrong. But if you're cheating at a sport of boxing, you could kill someone. You're risking someone's life, and I've got kids at home, so if someone cheated, you could take the dad away, and it's a bit deep, but that's why I don't agree with cheating. I'm not saying it's okay, but Tyson Fury, he took drugs, but he wasn't risking anyone's life. He might have failed a drug test, but at the same time, he wasn't risking anyone's life when he got in the ring. But it's a bit controversial, this, isn't it? I know I never do this, but
no, but it's well, the Canelo end of it is actually quite interesting because, like, now his name is always going to be synonymous with being a drug cheat. You know what I mean? So it's like, why would you do that?
I know, it just never seems to get mentioned now, though. And I just think every time I see his name and they say he's the best now, and I just think he can't be the best because he's cheated. In my eyes, he'll always be a cheat, and he'll deny it and say that he had that meat that wasn't right. And I just don't. I've never failed a drug test, and I've had loads of meat, so it just makes no sense. I don't like cheats because you're risking someone's life on your head.
I agree with you. I'd still let him come on the show, though, just in case he's watching this.
Oh, yeah, you've got loads of calls. I still have a live, and I just deny saying it. I didn't say it weren't me.
Right, one final question here, because it's a good one, and it's from Adam. He said, I'm a young boxer, 16. I'd love to have a career that is just like yours. What advice would you give me?
Again, enjoy it. Work hard, train hard. Like I never had it my own way. I've had to pick myself up so many times off the canvas, literally pick myself up and go again. Never give up on your dreams. I worked so hard, and there has been times where I've doubted myself and thought, you know what, I don't know if I'm going to do this. And then all of a sudden, things happen. And as long as you work hard, stay in the gym, keep winning them fights, you'll get the opportunity. And as soon as that opportunity comes, work as hard as you can, and you'll win it. Just work hard at your dreams, work hard and never give up, and you'll eventually get there. Believe and achieve.
Brilliant advice. Perfect advice to leave our interview on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time.
No, it's good chat.
Yeah, absolutely. And I look forward to hopefully seeing you somewhere down the line and we can get a proper interview in.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Brian.
See you later.
Thanks. Bye.